Wow.
Shalom Bmore. We are the I.S.U.P.K. coming on West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. We are here teaching the truth to our people that are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians according to the Bible. We have been teaching the truth since 1969, and if you are not teaching out the Bible and part of the I.S.U.P.K, you are not in the truth. So today we're going into the Lashawan Qadash class today, and basically going over the alphabet. And according to how the world is, to any kind of civilization or nation, language is a key part. That's showing your heritage, your culture, how your people do with their laws, statutes, and commandments, and how the original laws of the Bible was written, which was in original Hebrew. From the Old Testament, from Genesis to Deuteronomy. So today we will be just going over the alphabet, and for those who have a Hebrew alphabet chart, one thing you ought to notice is that there are no J's, E's, O's, U's, or V's in the Hebrew. That if any of the Hebrew has J's, E's, O's, U's, or V's, because the J's didn't come out to the 1700s, that is considered Yiddish, because our enemies, while under their captivity, which is Amalek, the so-called white man, the wannabe Jew, according to Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, has stole our language and presented as theirs. So people of the world is calling them Jews. But what gets them and makes them not Jews is when Jacob had two sons. When Isaac had two sons, one was Jacob, one was Esau. Esau, which is a so-called white man today, which is his biblical name, which means red, or Adawam in the Hebrew, he will be considered a Hebrew, but not an Israelite, because unless you come from those 12 tribes of Jacob, you are not an Israelite, and those what makes up blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, according to Genesis, the 49th chapter, verse 1 through 22. Revelation 7:4-8, and Revelation 21 and 12. So, as soon as I can get this screen up and running right, we're going to deal with the first letter of the alphabet, which is the I in the Hebrew, as in Adawam, and so on, which is AH, which is Ah, which is the Ah sound. So if you have your Hebrew English charts on that, you read from right to left. The I in the Hebrew is the first letter, which is AH. Can't get this up. So like here, we having some technical difficulties. Bear with me.
Go ahead, get on the floor, I'll take over the table. Go across, we're going old school now. Get your pen and paper out. I'm gonna start with the first character, which is I. You understand? It's like making it in the English an A, and you just tilt that joint to the side, and that's an I. You understand? If you can see what's on the paper, that's the first character in the ancient Hebrew alphabet. You understand? When everybody go on ISUPK.com right now and download your copy of the Hebrew alphabet sheet. It's very vital. It's a very important tool to this class here. It's a very important tool to this class. Make sure you want to participate and actually be writing these things down, sounding them out. You know what I'm saying? Writing them down and all of that. It's very vital. Okay? This is your heritage. This is your, this is what we do. This is our rank. This is our holy time. Let's get it in the ancient Hebrew, right? And also the Assyrian, right? So this is the A. It's the A like tilted to the side. If you can see, you understand. So we can pull it up on the big screen. We're a little bit technical difficulty, but anything we figure it out. We get it, we get what we have on the tech side of everything big. Anyway, that's the I. Let's get the next character, which is the Ba. Try to make it as big as possible. Thick as possible on this piece of paper until we get it on the screen. You got a butt, and mind you, this is the ancient Hebrew. This is the ancient Hebrew. This is the Lashawan Qadash. You understand? Keep this in mind while you're seeing these images. You know what I'm saying? These pictorials. You understand? You got the I. Can you see it on there? Can you see it on there clearly? You got the I here. Can you see that clearly on there?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. You see the Ba on the screen.
Most definitely.
You got the Ba. This is the beginning of the ancient Hebrew alphabet. Just as in any language that you're learning, the very first thing that you always taught in Spanish, English, it could be any language. In Russian, whatever the hell you want to learn, the very basics of all these languages is the Hebrew alphabet. This is how you're going to sound out each and every word. This is how you're going to. This is the very ground level of everything. So this is where we got to start here. Everybody understand? You got to start here. You got to write it out. Just like when you got to think back, man, way back when you was in elementary school. What the hell you doing? Writing out each and every individual letter, sounding it out, saying it, and then all of a sudden you speaking in writing in English. Same thing here in the Hebrew alphabet. We read, write, and teach the Hebrew in the University of Universal Practical Mind. You know why? Because we did all these basic fundamental steps in learning in another language. You understand? Right? So we got the I and the Ba. You want to take that over?
And the captain right. Any fundamental basic language that you build upon and want to learn how to speak or read about, you will go ahead and start from the basics. This right here is the Lashawan Qadash, Lashawan, which means tongue, Qadash, which means holy. So reading it correctly, it would be Qadash Lashawan, which means holy tongue, which meaning there are no additives in the Hebrew. There are no J's, E's, D's, O's, or U's. So like it was already stated that you went over the I and the Ba. Now we're going to go over the third letter of the alphabet, which is God. And it looks like a little bridge. Me. Looks like a little bridge, which is God. So this is the third letter of the alphabet, which is God. So now we got A, which is the first letter of the alphabet, Ba, which is the second, Da, Salakia, Abba, Ga, which is Da right here, which is the third letter of the alphabet. Now we are going to go into the Hebrew letter Da, which would be the fourth alphabet of the letter, and it looks like a triangle, not a pyramid. Hint, hint, we do not want to, we have to remember, but not really, our unpleasant stay in Egypt. So now we're going into the fourth letter of the alphabet, which is Da, which looks like a triangle. The letter Da. In the original Hebrew, in the ancient, this is Da, the letter Da. So now we got A, Ba, Ga, and Da. So now we're going to get the fifth letter of the Hebrew, which is Ha. And to me, the fifth letter of the Hebrew, Ha, looks like a flag. This is, everybody might have their own special way of remembering it or doing it, but it comes out the same way with everybody. But you can associate things with shape, sometimes like our forefathers did. But our language is unlike anybody else's language, because Hebrew is more direct. It's a more direct language. It's not beating around the bush or having double meaning, how the so-called white man has forced upon us English, and everything has two meanings or three meanings to it. But Hebrew is very, very direct. If you can see, this is the fifth letter, Ha, which look like a little flag. There's 22 characters in all, so we on the fifth letter of the alphabet, which is Ha. So now we're going to the sixth letter of the alphabet, which is Wa, which is Wa. And it looks something almost like a fish book. This is the letter Y. sixth letter of the Hebrew is Wa. W-A. Wa. This is the fifth letter of the Hebrew that look like a fish hook in the ancient, and it's Wa. So to recap, the first letter to the sixth letter, which is A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, now Wa. So if you're on I.S.U.P.K.com, you can download the Hebrew alphabet so that you can have it. I always carry it with me. I always sit down and practice it because that's how you get to learn a language. When you sit and constantly practice how to say it and how to write it. I constantly do that on a daily basis. If I'm sitting by myself, just to keep in mind, because not only do I have to do Sabbath service, but I might have to teach another brother or sister the correct way to mean something or to say something. So I have to keep up on my Hebrew in order for another brother or sister that may be under me or sometimes even over me to know our language that the Most High had gave us according to Zephaniah 3 and 9. Zephaniah 3 and 9. I'm going to get that and show you what I mean. Bear with me. Zephaniah 3 and 9. Zephaniah 3 and 9 says this: For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. Now, within that scripture is a problem, not for I.S.U.P.K, but it's a problem for all these other Israelite groups that's out here, and for especially any of our people that's still stuck in that religion, according any kind of Christian, Baptist, Methodist, whatever religion. It says that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. So if you got all these other religions and you speak in English calling upon the name of the Most High, how is he going to hear you, or you call upon him when you don't even know his name? Because he does have a name, and his name is in Hebrew. But according to the so-called white man, he called him one thing, the Baptists call him another. They got all these titles, but the Most High directly let you know his name. And that's in Deuteronomy 6 and 4. Deuteronomy 6 and 4. Deuteronomy 6 and 4 says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. But when you go into the Hebrew, the word God is not there. The Most High name is actually there in place of the word God. So if the Most High name is in Hebrew, which he is the power of Israel, how can anybody else or another name call upon the Most High? And that should make our people that stuck in church wonder, if they can't call on the name of the Lord, how are they serving him? How are they serving the Most High? Let's see what the Most High name is in Hebrew, according to Deuteronomy 6 and 4. Now, I read it for you in English. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. That's also a credo, which would be in the Hebrew, Shema Yasha'Allah, Yahweh Elohayim, Yahweh Akkad. So the word God wouldn't be there. The actual name of the Most High would be Yahweh. And I am going to write that in the Hebrew. So the Most High then let his people, Israel, know his name. So that means nobody else can call on the name of the Most High. Nobody can ask no other nation can ask the Most High for anything, but those are Native Indian, Black, and Hispanic descent. Us in the I.S.U.P.K. is coming under that one consent, calling on the name of the Most High, which his name is Yahweh, which means he is, or I am. Because according to the Tetragrammaton, the Most High has really 4 letters in his name, which is YHWH. And the most purest letter in the Hebrew language is the A, sound. So you got Yah, Ha, Wah. Which is YAHAWAH. Shalom Yahweh. Shalom Yahweh. Slack yourself. Come on. What's happening? Slack you on that. So, the Most High name that he told Moses and Israel is in Deuteronomy 6:4, which is Yahweh. So it really says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord, our power, Yahweh, is one Lord." So that's the one consent coming under the power of the Most High in Christ, which took us out of the land of Israel. We were saved by the Most High power, his strength, from the Egyptians. So that's what the scripture means. So, like I was saying, if you do not know the Most High name, how can you call upon him? And not only is it in Deuteronomy 6:4, but in Exodus 15:3 also. The Most High name is also in Exodus 15:3. In English it says, "The Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name." In the Hebrew, it would tell you, just like we said, the Most High name is Yahweh. Here you will read it as, "The Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name." In Exodus 15:3, it says, "Yahweh Ayash Malakma Yahweh Shamwa, Shamwa, which is name, Malakma, which is Lord or King. Yahweh is the Most High name. Ayash, meaning name. So, Malakma is of war, means of war. Malakma means of war. Yahweh is the Most High name. So it says Yahweh, Ayash, Malakma, Yahweh, Shamwa. So how can the church or any other Christian, whether it be Christian, Baptist, Episcopalian, or any religion, call on the Most High name if you do not know it? And the Most High name is in Hebrew. So that's showing you that the church don't know what they're saying. And like the scriptures say, they do err in not knowing the scriptures. Because the Most High name is in 2 scriptures and all throughout the Bible, especially the Old Testament. But back to the Hebrew chart. We're on the 7th letter of the Hebrew. I just wanted to bring that out about the Most High name, being Yahweh, and not God, not Lord, not anything, but as it says in the Hebrew, because who is he the power of? He's the power of Israel.
Now, a question online.
Uh-huh.
What's the word soul in Hebrew?
Word so, as in which kind of so?
S-E-W, soul. You get it, the blue letter. I don't know what you're doing.
What I'm doing is looking up the word so, and you want the S-O-W.
S-E-W.
S-E-W. That's the top wall in Hebrew. So, S-E-W, the top wall.
It's not the bar. It's not the bar.
The top wall. Because you got a la, a tha, a pa, a wa, and a ra.
I'm in Ecclesiastes 3:7.
Ecclesiastes 3:7.
I got the par. Let me see. You're right. You're right. It's a lot. You're right. Because I look down in the. You're right.
Because Ecclesiastes 3:7 reads, I, Lapar, Lapawai, La'at, Latapwar, which is so, I, Lakashwa, La'ai, Ladabar. Ecclesiastes 3:7, which in English means a time to reign, a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak.
Let's get into Ezekiel 13 and 18 as well.
Okay. And see, when you're able to read and write the letters of the Hebrew, whether it be the ancient or the Assyrian, you'll be able to go into like the Blue Letter Bible app that you can put on your phone, and you can read it. It's very accurate. And what scripture you say, sir? Ezekiel?
13 and 18.
Ezekiel 13 and 18. Come on. Ezekiel, whoa, that's a big scripture.
I know.
But I can read it real quick. Ezekiel 13 and 18 says, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, woe to the women that sew pillows to all armholes, and to make kerchiefs upon the head of every statue, to hunt souls. Will you hunt the soul of my people? Will you save the souls alive that came unto you? So, kind. So the word would be, Lamadak Wawa, which means sowing. Lama Hawa, in that sense. So it's the same.
But the root word is the la, the pa, and the ra. That's the root. That's the root of it, of the word sow in the Hebrew.
So basically, like the captain said, you got the la, the ba, the pa, the wa, and the ra, which in total would mean the top war, which means to sow. But in the scripture that he had gave you in Ezekiel, it's talking about many women sowing. So you will see like yam or yan in it. And I'm gonna write the word sow for you right now. So here it is in the ancient Hebrew. You got the la, the ta, the pa, the wa, and the ra, which is the top war. The top war, which means to sow. So we're getting back to the seventh letter of the alphabet, which is za, which is look like the letter Z, which is za. Because if you know anything about Hebrew, you will know that the language was coming down after the flood through Shem, and from Shem it went to Eber, and Eber means Hebrew in Hebrew, which is Ibar or Ibari. And then it went from Eber on down to Abraham. It should be Genesis 13:14. It tells you. Because Abraham was not an Arab. They called Abraham the Hebrew. Yeah, Genesis 14 and 13. So Genesis 14 and 13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew. This was talking about Abraham. So Abraham or Abram was not an Arab. He was not a Christian or anything like that. He was called Abraham the Hebrew because why? The language was passed from Eber on down to Abraham, from Abraham to Isaac, and then from Isaac to Jacob. That's why in total we are named Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew being our holy language, Israelite being the nationality. If somebody call you a Hebrew, they are calling you a language, which we are not. But we do have our own language. Israelite, coming from out of the loins of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Israelite is our nationality when you get to the sons of Isaac. Which Romans 9 and 7 confirm that. It says, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. So you can come out of the loins of Abraham. So the two children that came out of the loins of Abraham was Ishmael and Isaac. But the Most High chose only one son to keep the lineage and seed going. And it says, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. So everybody that's coming out of Abraham, his seed, everybody ain't the children of the Most High. But it says, but in Isaac shall that seed be called. So what child came out that the Most High called out of Isaac's seed? It was Jacob, whose name was changed to Lashawan, or Israel in the Hebrew. Showing you that the Arabs are not favored by the Most High. He actually had a hand in our captivity. Because who built the boats? So this is talking about the seed of Isaac, which is Jacob. So Jacob's name in Hebrew is Yasha'al. All these 12 tribes that you see on this chart back here are the 12 sons of Jacob. Those are Negro and Indian descent. The northern and the southern kingdom together as one, not separate. And that's in Ezekiel 37 chapter. But going back to the Hebrew, this is the seventh letter of the Hebrew, which is Zah, which is Z-A, Zah.
Come on, talk about it. You good?
Yeah, all I gotta do is whatever you want to do, because it said that shows up there.
Hold
So, into the eighth letter of the Hebrew, which the eighth letter of the Hebrew, which is the eighth letter of the Hebrew, which is Ka, which looks like a ladder. And this Ka is a hard guttural sound. It's the eighth letter of the Hebrew, which is Ka, Chaa, Ka. And you know, many famous names in Israel has Ka in it. Like Kazak, Karatazah, Katazah, Ka. That hard guttural sound, that manly sound. Ka. Hebrew is not feminine, it is very masculine and very direct. So that's the eighth letter of the Hebrew, which is Ka. And it looks something almost like a ladder. Chaa, Ka, that guttural sound. So now we get into the ninth letter of the Hebrew, which is Ta, Ta, which is Ta. Not to be confused. Not to be confused with Tazad. Not to be confused with Tazad. But it's Ta. Here we go. And Ta looks like this. It's like an X with a circle in it. And that will be Ta, Ta. So to recap, we got A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ha, and Ta. Now we're getting to the next letter of the Hebrew. We get into the next letter of the Hebrew, which is Yah, which is the 10th letter of the Hebrew. And this what it looks like to me. It almost look like somebody hand about to go out and reach something and grab it. So Yah, which is Y-A, Yah. That's the 9th letter of the Hebrew. Salaki, the 10th letter, Yah. So now we're going to the next letter, which is the soft K in the Hebrew, which is Ka, which is Ka, or as you would say in the Hebrew, Khan, which is Kan, meaning yes. So we in the 11th word of the Hebrew, which is Ka. Ka. And now we have the 12th letter of the Hebrew, which is La, as in Lashawan Qadash, La'ah, which means no. We're getting into the 12th letter of the Hebrew, which is La, or LA. Doesn't stand for Los Angeles, but it's La. And in the ancient Hebrew, La actually looks like an L. And it would be good if you get, as time go on, you will get better for remembering the Hebrew and remembering the alphabet. Because sometimes out of the blue, somebody might ask you on the street, okay, you know Hebrew, what's the alphabet? Or, you know, what does this mean? Or what does that mean? I had a neighbor not too long ago ask me, they were like, you a Hebrew Israelite? I said, yeah, I'm an Israelite. I said, Hebrew is the language. So they asked me to recite the alphabet, you know, right then and there. So with everybody standing around me, I had no problem.
Right. He thought he had one up on him.
He thought he had one up on me, but he didn't know I could say it that fast either. And I do this on a regular basis by writing it, reading it, and also saying it. Because it's almost like a rap if you think about it too. That's how slick our forefathers was. We had our own language. Now the world knew it until we was under their captivity. That's how devastating the Most High is. So to recite the whole alphabet is Abagada, Hawazaka, Tayakala, Manasai, Pantaza, Kwarashata. And that's the whole 22 letters of the alphabet. So back to the ancient Hebrew, we on the 13th letter of the Hebrew, which is Ma, as in Malak, Matazabah, Mizraim or Matazarium in Hebrew, which is Egypt. Get to know your nations according to the scriptures. Learn your nations. That'll help you, especially when you're out there and you're officer, you're doing your speaking, you know, repetitiously in the scriptures. You'll get to know who's who. There's 18 nations on the planet, despite all these people that they done had so-called census on and done counted. There's only 18 nations that all those people make up in the world. Only 18. Israel being the top nation, even though they say otherwise. Our people are the top nation because without us, the world will die. The world will lose all its flavor, all the culture that they done stole from us. So Israel is the top nation. You know, whatever we do, the other nations going to copy it, try to make money off it, try to have it to where they can say, oh, I'm a part of this, or I'm going to mix this. Nah. Whatever your father is, that's what you are. There's no such thing as mixed. There's no such thing as half of nothing. If the Most High created you, why would the Most High create half of something? So whatever your forefather is, that's what you are. You are a whole something. So we're into the 13th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is Ma. Which is Ma. And it looks like a W with a little hook on it. Which is Ma. M-A. Now, we're not talking about the rapper NA, because she out of order. And yes, she is out of order. But this right here is the Ma in the Hebrew. It looks like a W with a little hook on it. But, saying young NA is out of order, that's for another day, and that's Leviticus 20 and 13, and Romans 1 and 25 to 32. So now we're in the 14th letter of the alphabet, which is Na, which is Na. And that looks like a top side of a triangle with a hook, which is Na. Just imagine writing the Hebrew letter Ma, taking half of that, and you got Na. Now you got the 15th letter of the Hebrew, which is Sa, as in like Saran, which means captain, or you would say Saraniyam, which means more than one captain at a time. And this is in the masculine sense. There is no feminine word for captain whatsoever. So, like Sa in the Hebrew, you would say Saraniyam or Saran, which is captain. So the first two letters of that, which is SA, and I'm not speaking Spanish. And Sa in the ancient Hebrew looks like a flag post or a sign. And actually going through some history, the Red Cross uses almost something similar with the three bars on the sign, on the stick of the sign. But it came from Hebrew first, and then they stole it, the Roman Catholic Church, and started using it for whatever wickedness they wanted to use it for. So this is Sa in the Hebrew. As in like soccer wall, or Serenium soccer wall, which is SA. Now we get into the 16th letter of the Hebrew, which is I. Because remember, the Hebrew had no J's, E's, O's, U's, or B's in the Hebrew. But the only two vowels that's in the Hebrew is the long A and the short I sound. So the 16th letter of the Hebrew is I. I. And I actually looked actually look like an eye, but a circle without the pupil and the iris and all that. So Sa, this is Sa in the Hebrew. That's a circle. I mean, Salaki, this is I. This is I. So now, we're getting into the 17th letter of the Hebrew, which is Ha. Ha. Let's come on. You want to talk about how we the Most High people? Well, show how you the Most High people by learning your language. Because I'm going to tell you, some of the native Indian tribes of Israel, when, when scientists have came and tried to discover of some of the more ancient native Indian cultures, they found out that what was written backwards was actually the ancient Hebrew or the Lashawan Qadash. But the native Indians, some of the native Indians had wrote the letters backwards. And there's plenty of proof there that the native Indians are the Gadites according to the Bible. Genesis 49 and should be 49 and 19. This is Pa in the Hebrew, in the ancient. Pa. Another way that you can get up on learning your language that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians should know is participating in like the Sabbath service, not being afraid to come up and read. And so what if you make a mistake? We all make mistakes. But that's what we are here in I.S.U.P.K to do, which is to be courageous and learn. And then what we have learned, turn and teach our people the right things. And teaching your people the right things, which is your language that only our people have, that rightfully belongs to us, is what righteous. Like it says, Zephaniah 3 and 9, for I will turn my people into a pure language. Matter of fact, it's also in the Apocrypha. And this is the reason why we go back to our native language, which is Hebrew. I'm trying to find a scripture that says, or what is said in Hebrew than in any other language, or what is said in English than in Hebrew, have not the same power. So with us calling on the Most High name in our original language in Hebrew, calling on the Most High name Yahweh, it has power. Yasha'Allah means sons of the power. So we are the sons of the living power. We are the sons of the Most High. So we in the 18th letter of the Hebrew, which is Tazah. Which is Tazah. Tazah. This is the 18th letter of the Hebrew in ancient Hebrew. And all that we have shown you today means you have not seen any J's, O's, U's, or B's in the Hebrew. And many times before the letter J came, what was used before the letter J was the Y. That's why if you see the name Jacob, it will be Yahweh, for example. Jesus will be Yahushua, and so on like that. Matter of fact, if you if you would use Joseph's name, for instance, Joseph's name in Hebrew would be Isupk. So that's showing you how the so-called white man, when he got our language after being under their captivity, went ahead and changed it from a Y to a J. That's showing you his wickedness too, how he took from us our heritage, our language, and made it so that we will be the outcast when he's really nothing in the first place. According to Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, he stole our language, he stole our heritage, he tried to steal our birthright, but he forgot. He already sold it to us. And what happened? The Most High said, Esau, you are not my son. That's why they call themselves Jewish, which means wanting, trying to pertain to, but are not a fake, a facsimile, not the real thing, a carbon copy. They Hebrew, but they are not Israelites. They can parade all they want. Parade around with those little beanies on their head. If they knew anything according to the scriptures, they ain't even supposed to have the middle of their head covered. That shows you how unlawful and wicked they are. Matter of fact, we can get into that a little bit right now, which Esau in Hebrew is Adawam. Adawam, which means red. Because whenever the so-called white man get angry, whether he's in a cold, whether he got too much sun on him, he will always be red. Yeah, we got lighter brothers that's Israelites, but check it out. They ain't the white man, because if they were the white man, they wouldn't be in I.S.U.P.K. Plus the Most High said, it should be Jeremiah 29 and 22. For my heritage is unto like a speckled bird. Also Jeremiah 14 and 2, telling you that Israelites or Jews come in many different shades and tones of color. It says, Judah mourneth, the gates thereof language, for they are blackened to the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem has gone up. Blackened to the ground meaning the deeper you dig into the ground, because on top you got that real light shade of brown to that deep dark chocolate, which all tones of Israel is beautiful. But back to the Hebrew, we're getting into the 19th letter of the Hebrew, which is Qua. Qua. It looks like you would call like an umbrella or a mushroom. And Qua is QA. QA. Now we get into the 20th letter of the Hebrew, which is Ra. And no, we're not talking about that fake Egyptian god. We talk about the Hebrew letter Ra, which is R-A. I don't know what, even though we was under the captivity of the Egyptians, according to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Also, Revelations should be 11 and 4. Talk about this is Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, talking about America, how we done serve slavery here in America, how we work ourselves for little or nothing like we did in Egypt. And also it's called Sodom because of all the homosexuality that they trying to push on our people. They ain't trying, the white man naturally been like that. The Africans naturally been like that. They have no problem going up and kissing and freaking with another guy. That's in Leviticus 20 and 13, which is a law of the Most High that tells you cannot do same sex. Go out there and find yourself a wife, a nice rib, get down. But be unto protocol, which means if it's a sister in the school, it's the 6 month to 1 year rule. That is not to be broken or you will face counsel. So now we're getting into the 20th word of the Hebrew, which is Ra. And it looks like an actual flag. You know how they say practice makes perfect? The only way that you're going to get perfect in this, and you be ye perfect, as your Father in heaven is perfect, and learn and know the Most High name, is by practicing the language that He passed down unto you today, these 12 tribes, which is the Lashawan Qadash, Holy Tongue, the Hebrew, not Yiddish, because Yiddish is a mix of Slavic languages mixed together. Like they try to have Hebrew in there, but then they mix it with Russian, or they'll mix it with German. Anything that's mixed is not a pure or holy tongue. But what we mean by holy, meaning separate. Our language is separate from all the rest of the world's languages, and it's unique. But because the so-called white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of, he mixed our language with German, with Russian, and all these other languages of the known world that are popular today. You even got so-called Chinese up there trying to claim and say, yeah, we Israelites. No, you the son of Moab and Ammon, which are Moab is the Chinese and Ammon is the Japanese. That makes you not a son of Israel. But this right here is the 20th letter, which is Ra in the Hebrew. So far, and I'm gonna go slowly down and going fast. It says we got Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Taza, Qua, and Ra. So we already up to 20 letters right now. It's only 22. So the last one will be Sha and Tha. And that will be letters 21 and 22. So far we Abagada, Hawazakata, Kala, Manasa, I, Pa, Taza, Qua, Ra. So to get the last two, we have Sha and we got Tha. But first Sha, as in Shamar or Shawamar, which means to watch. And Sha, to me, in the ancient Hebrew, looks like a big W. And Shah is spelled S-H-A. Shah looks like a big W, and it's spelled Shah, S-H-A. Shah. And for the last one, in the ancient, because next Friday we are going to go into the Assyrian Hebrew alphabet, because if you read most of the Hebrew books today, because we was under their captivity, under King Agrippa and King Shalmaneser, the Assyrian Hebrew is when we was under their captivity, so we started writing from our fluid regular form to almost like a block form. Almost to like a block form. So we'll go in next Friday, we'll go into the Assyrian alphabet. And the thing that differentiates from the ancient to the Assyrian is that with ancient, when you spell out words, they have connectors. But when you get into the Assyrian doesn't have connectors. But if you have the ending to it, you will consider that ending on the end of a word. Like, what's a good word? Like, Tazah. If it's at the end, you would use the ending on that. And I'll show you next Friday that some of the words have endings in the Assyrian Hebrew. But for right now, get to the last one, which is Tha. which is the 22nd letter in the Hebrew. Which is spelled T-H-A. Now, you should know when the scripture talks about Yahushua, he says, I am the Ah and the Tha, or in the Greek, the Alpha and the Omega. But in the Hebrew, like the same Hebrew Yahushua spoke, is Ah and Tha, which is the first and the last letter of the Hebrew, Ah and Tha. But Yahushua say, I am the Ah and the Tha, or the first and the last. But that's going into another subject. But showing you how Yahushua spoke in his language, what he will actually say. He said, I'm the first and the last, which is the Ah and the Tha. First letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Ah. Last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is Tha, the ending. And this is Tha. So practice, practice, practice. Team up with the brother, call him up, go over your Hebrew letters, and go through some of the alphabet so that one day when you call up to participate in Sabbath service, you don't have to read it in English, which is a bastardized language, meaning everything under the sun but what it's supposed to be, or double talk. You can actually read it in the Hebrew. Because for one example, the churches get everything wrong because they don't know the Hebrew. Like for instance, Genesis 1:1. It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Now, most Christians will see that in Genesis 1:1 and run with it. They will see that and run with it, which is not according to the Most High and not according to our language. It says, Bara'asha, Bara'a, Alahayim. That word Alahayim, which means the angels or the heavenly host. Alahayim. It does not mean the Most High. It means the angels or the host of heaven. Bara'asha, which means the beginning. Bara'a, creator. Alahayim, the angels. Ah, and Hashemayim, the heaven. Wa'af, and Salakia, and the Haratazah, which means earth. So in the beginning, the angels or the powers created the heaven and earth. The Most High give the orders, the angels follow it, and whatever the Most High tell the angels to do, they do. The Most High doesn't have to do anything. He gives the orders, he sit on his throne, and a fiery throne at that, according to Daniel 7:9. And he gives the angels and Yahushua their orders. And they complete their orders most promptly and expeditiously. But we can go over some of the Assyrian language too. I thought I wanted to go into it next Friday, but we need to go into a little bit of it now. And let's see. I want to do at least 8 letters from the Assyrian Hebrew, from the Assyrian alphabet of the Hebrew. First, we're going to go into I, and again, I is spelled A-H. Hope you can see it, and it's spelled I, A-H. The first letter of the Assyrian Hebrew, and notice that it looks almost like an X. It looks almost like an X. So this is the first letter of the Assyrian Hebrew. And notice it's almost different from the ancient, because until we went under the Assyrian captivity, how I showed you the ancient letters in the Hebrew first, then I showed you this, which we was under the Assyrian captivity. So this is the first letter of the alphabet in the Assyrian, which is A. And I hope that you went to the website, www.isupk.com, to download the Hebrew language sheet. Or if you're an I.S.U.P.K, you need help with your Lashawan Qadash or the alphabet, don't be afraid to ask a brother. Don't be afraid to ask a captain, even a general. But go to a captain or whoever the head of the school is and ask them for the Hebrew language sheet, or ask them to go over some of the, whoever teaches the Lashawan Qadash in your city, to go over the Hebrew with them. And they will gladly help you out. You know, I'm still trying to find in the Apocrypha here you go. Just what I was looking for. This is Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, exactly what I wanted. And it's in the prologue of wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach. And it says right here, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us, where we may seem to shortcome of some words, which means after a certain time when we ended up in our captivity, they tried to force upon us, whoever captivity we was under, their language on us. So he was saying, pardon us for we may come short of some words. It says, which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue. So before we got into captivity and got taken over to certain places and scattered throughout the known world, it was forcing us to speak their language. So we was at a loss for some words, having it beat out of us, being made examples, told us to speak English, told us to do as they do. That's why the scriptures say in Jeremiah 10:2, learn not the way of the heathen. Yeah, we speak their language, but we're supposed to come back to our language according to Zephaniah 3:9. That's why in the I.S.U.P.K, we do the prayers, we call each other name in Hebrew. You know, it's a favor that the Most High have bestowed upon us to have our name in His holy language. So it says, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us, where we may seem to come short of some words which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another language, which may be in English, Spanish, German, Arabic, the Samoan tongue, Japanese, Chinese, and so on. It says, have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books, which means these books that's taken out of the Bible is supposed to be between the New Testament and the Old Testament. That the so-called white man, the goddamn devil, took out of the Bible, and that it was in Hebrew. And it says, and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. So if we speak in our own language and we speak in these scriptures, that's why the example that I had gave you in Genesis 1:1, showing you that these Christian churches who believe in these false religions, like Colossians 2:8 say, they have not the answers, nor can they decipher when the Most High is talking or when Christ is talking. Because why? They don't know the Most High name, which is in Hebrew, Yahweh, or Christ, Jesus Christ's name, which in the Hebrew, which is Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, which means anointed Savior. So that's showing you that the Christian church does not have the answer. No religions have any kind of answer. Only the I.S.U.P.K, because why? We are speaking in our own language. But also, Friday, what I'm going to try to do also is break down the greeting for brothers and sisters so that you can learn it step by step and learn the difference between saying it to one brother or many brothers or one sister and many sisters. I got 30 minutes. Matter of fact, I'm going to get something out of the Old Testament. I'm going to get Deuteronomy 18 and 18. Deuteronomy 18 and 18. It says, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I command him. This was Moses prophesying about Yahushua. And this is where you need to know who is doing what and who is speaking. Because Deuteronomy 18:18 reads, Naba Ya'ah, Akuyam, Laham, Makarab, Akayaham, Hamukah, Wanathakya, Dabaria, Bakayuar, Wadabar, Alahayim, Ab, Kal, Ashar, Atazawanwa. So that prophet that was going to be raised among their brethren was going to be Yahushua. It's showing you that Hebrew is so direct that if you know the truth of the scriptures and you know the breakdown, then once you get to the Hebrew, you'll understand it better. The Christian church, these religions are not speaking in Hebrew. They speak in that fake Yiddish, which I consider bull, you know what? That Yiddish is BS. Like, for instance, we was at one of the I.S.U.P.K cookouts, and you know, if you know your Hebrew, you know, you can get back at them because they thinking because you black or you Hispanic or you Native Indian that you don't know. So this white Jewish lady came to me and she was like, Ma Shalamka, which is supposed to mean peace be unto you. So I told her Shalom Katab. So I told her my peace is good. So she was shocked that I even knew that. So that's showing you that the skill it takes in order to deal with these other nations, these heathen, especially that so-called Jewish man. You can confound him in a lot of stuff because he don't think that you're supposed to know your language. Because he will never be a truth teller and tell you that you are the Israelites that the Bible is talking about. That whole book of Deuteronomy 28 chapter is things that are concerning us that are happening in these times today, right now. How you be cursed in the city and in the county. Those are two places that our people are moving from and to. White people trying to move back into the city, we shipping out to the county thinking it's a better life. Let me tell you this, there's more crime happening out in the county than in the city. But comparing all of Baltimore, it has been like close to almost 400 murders now. Showing you that these things are only happening to us, because why? We got the cops hunting out steps, Lamentation 4:18. They hunting out steps, they basically searching for a reason to beat us and kill us. There's nothing new under the sun, especially when they was patty rollers back then, slave hunters. The same police that had that same spirit back then, it's the same thing that the police have in their spirit right now to go ahead and try to kill us. There's nothing new. Hey, what's going on? Shalom Yahweh. And that's a greeting from one brother to another. Right. So you have your alphabet sheet? That's okay, we got plenty. We got plenty for you. So, Baba Kushar, which means please, the bar Abayaf, Baba Kushar, which means say the alphabet or speak the alphabet for me, please.
Abagada Havaza Kata Ya.
Say it one more time. Take your time.
Abba Gada Hawazaka Ta Ya Ka Lama Na Sa'a Ha Taza Taza Kwa Ra Shata.
Most High in Christ. Yeah, Most High in Christ. We did that. So basically, practice make perfect.
Calvin Khan.
You know, like I had said before, when you get more skilled in it, and you start writing it down, and you start trying to perfect your craft, which is us being Hebrew Israelites, you say it real fast. You know how we usually say the greetings toward one another. You know, Yahshua, and it sounds like I just muddled over and butchered all the words, but I didn't. I just said it real fast because I know what every word means. You know, same way with the alphabet. Go ahead.
You got a question from Ayana Rock. Says, sir, what the word sue mean? So mean. SEW in Hebrew.
Oh, the word so. I think we answered a question, but
Oh, you did already?
I'll go over it again. It should be Tapawar. I mean, La Tapawar in the Hebrew. Yeah, my fault. Latapwar, which is so, which is how you take a needle and thread and sew. There's Latapwar. That's what La, Ta, Pa, Wa, and Ra. Latapwar. You can Latapwar fringes all day if you got the skill. You sew them fringes on, and it's glorious. Numbers 15 and 38. That was one of the scriptures that I had to get that down. Especially, you know, whether if you're an Israelite or you're a Gadite. I love wearing my fringes. I wear them everywhere if I can. I don't care what nobody say. I'm gonna go ahead and rep my culture. I'm gonna go ahead and rep my brothers, those 12 tribes. Shoot, I got on my fringes. You can't tell me nothing. I got those slick fringes on them border blue. Man, what the hell can you tell me?
Right.
They're gonna be like, well, where is that in the Bible? Because the Jewish man, he wear tassels or strings. Talk about their fringes. No, fringes are actually those that you can look upon and separately hold in your hand. Just like, as you can see, I got fringes right here. Numbers 15 and 38 with that border of blue.
Right.
Showing that the blue is representing that we have the law of the scriptures, but to look upon the fringe and to know that we ought to remember all the laws of the Bible. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that right now. Numbers 15 and 38. I love that scripture. Here you go. Numbers 15 and 38. To the children of Israel. So this is talking about those 12 tribes right there, not no Jewish person, not no Jewish man, but unto the children of Israel. You want to read?
Come. Numbers chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel.
Unto who?
The children of Israel.
That means that when Moses came upon the scene and the Most High chose Moses to get the children of Israel out of Egypt and so on, Moses was to do the miracles, but Aaron was the mouthpiece at the time. But all the power at that time, the authority had lied in Moses. Because why? Because Moses was the one who had received the law to give it to the children of Israel.
Right.
So this was Moses up there speaking to all of Israel.
Right.
Read.
and bid them,
Bid.
slightly, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
And bid them that they make what?
And that they make them fringes in their borders of their garments.
That we make fringes in the borders of their garments. Now I know you see some of these thick Israelite camps, and they got fringes at the bottom of a shirt. That is not the border of a garment. The border of something is to wear two pieces of fabric meet,
right,
to make a border.
Right.
Just like if you got it on the side of your pants, two pieces of fabric have met to make a border.
Right.
So when they up there had it at the bottom of a shirt, and you got this is a seam. This is not a border.
Right.
A border to wear two pieces of fabric meet to make a border. So them having fringes at the bottom of the shirt, is off. So it said, bid them that they make fringes in the borders of their garments. Read on.
Throughout their generations.
Throughout their what?
Generations.
So this means we're supposed to do this throughout everything that we do in daily life, every day, throughout generations, passing it down, the tradition to our children, that they wear fringes too. You look at the Gadites, wear fringes everywhere. And plus they, shout out to General Kovalama, that Gadite joint that he had at Passover, that blew me the hell away. And I saw the rest of Israel with the war head pieces on, with the feathers. I was so bewildered. I was like so amazed, so hypnotized. I'm gonna get me one next. I'm gonna get me one next Passover. I'm gonna get me one next Passover and a hatchet. Well, I got 3 hatchets. I just want a new one.
You got headpiece too.
God. But the hatchets is a personal thing, because I gotta axe the ground with Esau, but according to the Most High time.
Right.
So I ain't going to have an axe the ground when I'm anytime soon, but ask the Most High, Christ said. Read on.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders of the ribbon of blue.
And it says, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. So that's showing you that where the borders of two fabrics that are meeting, a ribbon of blue. So not only is it supposed to have the fringes, but that border of blue. And that border of blue was to state that we have the law, that we are enforcing the law. Why do you think with Esau, with his police, his military, and certain factions of his law enforcement, that they actually had a stripe of blue going down the side or the border of their pants of the color blue?
Right.
That's showing you where they got it from. They got it from us. Because why? Not only do Esau and his military pervert the law, but they enforce the law of the land upon us. So by us having the fringes and the border of blue, they took that. They tried to take that and steal that away from us. But since we are coming back to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Bible, we know that we've been doing this ever since years and centuries and decades and so on, for the longest time, before any other nation tried to do it. Even before it became popular in the 70s, we was up there doing that, having fringes upon our garments, the things that we wear, passing it down throughout our generations, showing you that every other nation will copy off you, copy off the 12 tribes. We are the salt of the earth. Matthew 5:13. While us sporting the fringes and the border of blue, how would they even know to have it?
Right.
All those that are on the 12 tribe sign, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that's our culture. The white man doesn't have a culture. Because why? He tried to present himself as a Jew, and what happened? The Most High and Christ called him a liar. Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. And also, matter of fact, bear with me because I'm gonna get the other scripture. Matter of fact, not only in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, it's in 2nd Esdras 10 and 23. Get that for me?
2nd Esdras, chapter 10, verse 23.
Come. It tell you how much not only is he a thief, but he a liar, and he's a stealer of other people's cultures.
Right.
That's why they want to go to Cinco de Mayo. That's why they want to be the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, and so on. White people don't have no culture. They come from the Caucasus Mountain of Georgia, Russia. Caucasus means cave dweller. And who are the original cavemen? Esau and his lineage.
So 2nd Esdras.
Come, read 2nd Esdras 10 and 23.
2nd Esdras, chapter 10, verse 23. And which is the greatest of all? The seal of Zion.
Which is the greatest of all, the seal of Zion. That Magun Dawadah, that is actually King David's name in the Hebrew. The Da upwards and the Da downwards makes up Da and Da. When you hang a chain from it, it makes the Wa, like you will see in the ancient Hebrew. So you got Da Wa Da. That's what the shield of David is. And it's not an idol or an image, it's actually a name. Da Wa Da, which is David.
Right.
Read on.
Have now lost her honor.
Have now lost her honor. Why is the scripture saying that the shield, that the Magun Dawadah, or the name of David, has lost his honor? Read on.
For she is delivered unto the hands of them that hate us.
Delivered unto who?
The hands of them that hate us.
Our lineage, our name, our heritage, being Israel, Yasha'Allah, was given to the hands of them that hate us. They took King David's name and made it theirs. And how did they do that? By having us in captivity and presenting themselves as the Jews, which they are not, but do lie, like Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 say. They do lie. So guess what? They took their Magun Dawadah, the shield of David, which it is called the shield of David, not the star,
Right.
not the star, but the shield of David, and had it for their own self, which the Bible is basically calling them in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 and 2nd Esdras 10 and 23. The Most High Antichrist is calling them thieves. It's calling them thieves. Matter of fact, give me Obadiah.
Right now.
Oh, God. Oh, Salakia. Bring off for a second. This is the last one. Salakia, sir. Oh, okay. It should be. Obadiah 1 and 5. Just the last one. Read
Obadiah.
1 and 5.
Obadiah, chapter 1. Oh, shit. There's only one. Okay, slack. Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off?
It says, if thieves came to thee, and robbers by night, because you don't know when a robber going to come into your house or break into your home. And what are they there to do? They come to steal and to rob. These other nations had came and stole and robbed from all of the 12 tribes and had us in captivity. So if they able to steal, how are they cut off? Even today, when you look at it, how are the other nations cut off? They got a whole UN fighting against us, like it says in Psalms 83 and 3 to 18. And it's asked you a question, how are these thieves cut off? Go ahead.
Would they not have stolen till they have enough?
would these other nations not have stolen till they had enough? They stole everything of us. Call us thugs, call us criminals, call us this, that, when we are the Most High holy people according to Deuteronomy 7:6. And the Most High chose us. Also, it should be 2nd Address 6:54 to 56. The Most High chose us. It says, would they have not stolen till they had enough? So they stole all our culture, everything from the 12 tribes. That's why we the salt of the earth, because everything that we do, they want. The other nations want and want to steal from us. Go ahead.
If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they have not leave some grapes? Now it was a thing of ours when we would do horticulture, agriculture. If we would grow grapes, we would pick the grapes, but we would leave some. Why? Because some of our people might have been poor, so we would leave. It's called gleaning. We would go ahead and, get as many of the grape bushels as we could, but we would leave some for the poor and the hungry to eat. So how is Esau stealing till they not had enough? And won't they leave something behind? Esau don't want none of our records here. So what they would do, they would steal and steal and steal and get fat off of us. That's why another scripture says the tabernacles of thieves prosper. Why? Because they stole everything from us and presented themselves as us, the 12 tribes. But like I was told, back to the Hebrew, I love doing the Hebrew. I love doing scripture breakdown. Oh, I love scripture breakdown so much. That's where, not saying go out and you get on the street teaching, but in the classroom, this is one of the best places to learn how to put more firepower to your arsenal, and to go out there and render those other nations helpless, because that they know what they've done to us, and hey, they owe you a hand. You better give that hand up, or it's coming off. That's what the scriptures do. It's for correction, for reproof. We reprove those other nations are liars, thieves, and murderers of our people, telling them that these times today, guess what? They happening to us. These terrible things, these curses are happening to us. It's not happening to these other nations. I don't see no black. I don't see no African in the street getting killed.
Right.
I don't see them getting pulled over by the cop. When the last time you seen a Chinese person get pulled over? When the last time you seen a white person beat a Chinese person? That's showing you that according to Deuteronomy 28 chapter, that's all us, all day. But is there anything that you actually wanted to go over in the Hebrew or anything?
Not off the top of my head.
All right, no doubt. Oh, but we'll get to that. But other than that, it's important for our people to come back to our original language, because even though the 12 tribes are different, and some of us may speak Spanish, or French, or another language, but guess what? If your father is of Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian heritage, you are of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, according to Genesis 49:1-22. And in Genesis, the 49th chapter, all those scriptures proves of who Israel is. I think it's shout out to Captain Qadash. You can check I.S.U.P.K.com, and he's going to do a lecture in the breakdown of the 12 tribes. Don't take that brother lightly, no pun intended. The brother is super bad. It's super bad in the scriptures. I mean, devastating. mainly all the brothers that's out here teaching and speaking from the I.S.U.P.K. are devastating in their own right. Shout out to all the brothers of the I.S.U.P.K.
Right.
From Commanding General Yohanna, who all the I.S.U.P.K. is under, coming on down. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom. We are the I.S.U.P.K. coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanna. Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves together. Ye gather together, O nation not desired. If you are Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, the rest of the world don't desire you. But guess who desires you? The Most High in Christ. We are Israel. And with that, we're going to go to the announcements. My name is Priest and Officer Gabarda, Officer of 1,000, and Shalom.
That's right.
The security announcer for the I.S.U.P.K. Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanna. New rules for the brothers and sisters. When a brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are a shield. They are here to shield themselves from the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months, which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry, tithes, which is a commandment.
That is the 6 month to 1 year rule. Do not break it, follow protocol, or you will be going to council.
Right.
Like the script, like it was said, those sisters or that brother is there to come into the I.S.U.P.K. and shed themselves of the world, of the old man that they used to be, and put on a new man, which is being a soldier, a trooper, or officer in the I.S.U.P.K.
Right.
And that sister is there to learn humility and to be humble and not to break those rules.
Right. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, in Malachi chapter 3. In Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means tenth in Hebrew, and is pronounced ma'ashir. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord give the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy events, we have the cookout for South Carolina. South Carolina cookout, August 4th, Fire Weekend. Check the school, the head of the school for further details. Remind every Akim and Akwathim to check on social media, such as I.S.U.P.K, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and material. If a brother or sister wants to be a trooper in the school, if a brother wants to become a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, or scarf. With that, we're going to give word courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Isupk Bmore, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh
How about Shem Yahweh Shabarakat?
Yahweh, class dismissed.